Hello, this is Rick with the Intersight Technical Marketing team. There are two ways to create custom tasks in Intersight Automation Task Designer: manually or importing from OpenAPI specification. In this video, we will explore both ways and focus on what OpenAPI specs are and how users can leverage those specifications to automatically generate tasks for custom automation. We'll use as an example Cisco Umbrella. We don't have native tasks at the moment in Intersight. First, we'll explore the example of their API to manually create an automation task to get the list of configured users. Then we'll download Umbrella OpenAPI specs to automatically generate the same task. So this is the Cisco Umbrella portal. Under Admin Accounts, we can see we only have one user available with the role Full Admin. In Intersight, we already claimed api.umbrella.com as a generic HTTP endpoint. Recall that before automating against any target, you need to claim it so it will appear as a valid target in your workflows. The Umbrella API documentation portal shows the admin v2 users endpoint to get the list of users. So we are now switching to Intersight and use the task designer to create this task manually with these specifications in mind. Under Cloud Orchestration, we go to Tasks, Create Task in Designer. We are going to assign the task a name and use the invoke web API request executor in the design canvas. Under Inputs URL, we specify the API endpoint as shown in the Umbrella API documentation. We select the method as get. Under Headers, we set the content type to be application JSON. The API endpoint returns a JSON payload, so we also set JSON as the response type. As by default, all API queries made with the web API request executor are targeting the Intersight API, we set an external target. Once we are ready, we save the task. From now on, we can use it in any workflow we like. So let's test the task. We're going to create a new workflow. In the Designer tab, we search for the task we've just created and drag it into the canvas. As we just need to extract the list of the Umbrella users, we only have one input, which is the endpoint we are targeting. In our case, it's the Umbrella API endpoint we claimed. After we execute the workflow, we can see under the debug logs we successfully managed to retrieve the list of users. We haven't created outputs for this task, but we can clearly see it worked in the target response. Now we've created the task manually. Let's move forward with the OpenAPI specs generation. The Umbrella API documentation allows users to download their OpenAPI documents in JSON format. This is basically a manifest file which contains all instructions on how to query a given system, their endpoints, methods, and payload examples. In the task designer, this time we create the task, then we select from OpenAPI spec. The system asks us to specify target organization and optional tags. Then we select the OpenAPI spec file we downloaded from the Umbrella API documentation portal. Once we click Next, the system starts to validate the OpenAPI specification document. And once done, users can go ahead and select all tasks they want to be generated. In this specific case, we have 49 potential tasks. As we are only interested to the task that retrieves the list of users, we can search for it in the list and select it. We can optionally specify query and other parameters. Then we can hit the Next button to set the name you'd like to see in the task designer, as well as its reference name. For this example, we'll change it into OAPI-list users. And if we are okay with the summary, we can move forward with the creation. Recall that you can generate multiple tasks all at once. The generated task is now in the task library. Let's have a look on how that looks like. As the manual task, it uses the Web API request executors, and all inputs have been already populated based on the umbrella OpenAPI document. The response parser to catch the full response is also automatically generated. Usually, users would like to go ahead and move forward with additional customization, for instance, creating multiple outputs or get rid of optional inputs, for instance. For this example, we just accept the task as it is. So going back to our original workflow, we are now going to use the new generated task to compare it with our manual effort. The only mandatory input in this case is the target, which once again is the umbrella API endpoint we claimed in Intersight. So we go ahead and save the workflow. Let's execute that. And after a couple of seconds, the workflow succeeds and we can check the outputs of both tasks. As the auto-generated one also includes a response parser rule to catch the full response, we also have a task output that clearly shows the list of umbrella users in a structured fashion. This output can be potentially used as an input to another task, as a variable, or as a workflow output.